您现在收看的是华视教育文化频道。
接下来要播出的是
英语口语训练1。
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Conversational English, Book 1. I'm your teacher, Bruce Bagnall.
各位同学们，大家好，欢迎大家再次来到英语口语训练，来跟我们一起学习英语绘画。我是 Lori 老师。
Today, of course, we have lesson 1 for you. But before we begin, I think it's very important that you understand how your course, Conversational English, is organized. We have organized this in a holistic way, which simply means that we approach language teaching from several different angles. We want you to listen to it, watch it, read it, even have a chance to speak it now and then. So, we have arranged for your textbook, which is the basis, it's the foundation for everything that we do on this program. It also is the basis for both the radio program as well as the workbook, which accompanies your textbook. On the TV show, each lesson has 5 parts. The first, a simple preview or introduction. Second, you will be able to watch, listen to, and read your dialogue. Now, the dialogue is the heart of every lesson. Part 3 will be vocabulary, both words and phrases, to help you understand what you just watched or read in the textbook. Part 4 is what we call a special treat or extra helping of material, something special taken from the dialogue. Now, usually, the radio program or the workbook will have that extra information for you because we just don't have time on our TV program for that. Part 5 is my favorite part because it's the quiz. 5 simple questions to help you review the day's lesson.
那么呢，这个刚刚 Bruce 老师讲的非常的清楚哦。我们的这个课程呢，它以这个媒体的方式来讲，是一个全方位的设计，包含了我们的 textbook， 就是我们的教材，然后呢，我们的 workbook， 我们的作业本，以及呢这个 radio 电台，还有 TV 就是电视的部分哦。那么所以呢，这4个部分合起来的话呢，是一个很全方位的这个管道来让大家学习。那么当然这里面最重要的基础就是我们的 textbook， 就是我们的教材了。那里面呢，它每一课都包含5个单元啊。那么第一个刚刚讲的就是本课的简介，第2个单元呢就是非常重要的这个对话的部分的影片，接着第3单元呢，当然就是要来教大家学这个影片里用到的单字跟片语。那么第4部分呢，刚刚 Bruce 老师有讲到是一个特别菜哦，就是这个加的，那么就是有一些特殊的字，它在本课有出现的话呢，那么第4部分会把它抽出来。那这第4部分的话，大家就是要看 workbook， 还有听电台的部分。那当然最后呢，就是 Bruce 老师最喜欢的考试的部分，测试一下自己学的有没有完整。
你真的不简单啊。
Oh, I know.
But it's true. I can't do that. And if you can't but want to, then try our program and read the textbook, read the workbook, and do it. Listen to the radio program. And now with us, you can enjoy viewing the first of 2 showings of our dialogue.
所以现在呢，就赶快来开始我们今天第1课对话影片的第1次的欣赏。 Paul.
1,
Paul, why are you up so early? Usually you are the last one in the neighborhood to get out of bed.
It's Saturday, and I don't want to miss a minute of this weekend.
You are impossible.
1,
Monday through Friday, I have to drag you out of bed to get to work. And now you're up at the crack of dawn exercising.
Oh, don't exaggerate. Oh. Well, are you going to get up now, or are you going to lie there all day? Remember, Carolyn is coming this morning.
I know. All right, I'll get out of bed too.
That's the spirit. Gee, I feel great. We have a lot on our plate today, don't we?
Don't you know it? Caroline is coming about 11, and then all of us are heading out to Yangmingshan National Park for a picnic. And then she and I will do some shopping, and then our hairstylist, and then we're going to meet the girls for dinner and fun.
Yeah. Tonight I'm going out with a couple of old friends for singing and a few beers. But first, we have to clean up this house and get it in order. After all, we want to set an example for our daughter, right?
Excuse me, do I know you?
Well, what?
Since when do you care what our house looks like? You always treat our house like a boys' dormitory.
Oh, Martha, that's not true. I help around the house.
Yeah, when I hold a gun to your head.
Now, come on. I am really going to help you around the house this morning, both with the cleaning and the picnic preparation.
I'm going to hold you to that.
You can hold me anytime you like.
Man, that's all you ever think about.
That's not true. I sometimes think about food.
Well, let's get busy here. It's just after 6, so we have plenty of time to freshen up, get dressed, have breakfast, and clean and straighten up the house.
After you.
All right, we're ready now, or after our break, for part 3, the vocabulary, words and phrases.
休息一下，我们再回来进行第3部分的字汇与片语。
Okay, now we're back and ready for part 3, words and phrases. I will say each word twice, allowing you just enough time to repeat it once, and then lovely Lori will do the translation for you, and we'll read the sentence, translation, and go on to the next item.
好的，那么所以第3部分单字片语，刚刚 Bruce 老师已经讲了，他会先每个字念2次，大家要仔细的听哦。然后呢，这个 Lori 老师会解释一下它的意思，同时呢，再带着大家一起看例句的部分，那么非常的有用哦，所以大家要仔细的来准备进行我们这个单元喽。
Okay, we're ready now for number 1. Stir, stir.
唤醒、惊扰。
Because of the mosquitoes in his room, Nick couldn't sleep and stirred all night.
因为房间里有蚊子 ，Nick 整夜被吵得睡不着。
Number 2, count out loud. Count out loud.
大声数着。
The bus driver counted out loud how many students were boarding his bus for the field trip.
公车司机大声数着上他的车要去远足的学生。
Number 3, resume. Resume.
继续从事。
After stopping for lunch, Philip resumed driving to his destination.
停车午餐之后 ，Philip 继续开车前往目的地。
Number 4, drag. Drag.
拉拖。
It was so hot and humid that the workers dragged themselves around the construction site.
天气又热又湿，工人们在工地上拖着身躯工作。
Number 5. Up at the crack of dawn. Up at the crack of dawn.
天一亮就起床，一大早就起床。
Andy is an early bird. He always wakes up at the crack of dawn.
Andy 习惯早起，总是天一亮就起床。
Number 6. Exaggerate. Exaggerate.
夸张。
English speakers like to exaggerate when they speak. It is a natural feature of English conversation.
使用英语的人说话时喜欢夸张，这是英语会话的自然特性。
Number 7. That's the spirit. That's the spirit.
这样就对了，这样才对。
I've decided to watch less TV and go online less too. I need to spend more time studying.
That's the spirit. 我决定少看电视，还有少上网，我得花多点时间读书，这就对了。
Number 8. Have a lot on one's plate. Have a lot on one's plate.
有很多事要处理。
Cynthia has a lot on her plate. She's the class leader and on the basketball team too.
Cynthia 有很多事要忙，她是班长，也是篮球队队员。
Number 9. Don't you know it? Don't you know it?
这还用你说
It's so cold today that I can hardly move my fingers.
？Don't you know it? I'm freezing too. 今天真是冷毙了，我手指几乎都不能动。这还用说，我也冻僵了。
Number 10. Head out to. Head out to.
出发前往，
Let's head out to the park and jog for a while, okay?
我们出发去公园跑跑步好吗？
Number 11. Hair stylist. Hair stylist.
发型师
Pamela is a hairstylist in a high-class beauty shop.
Pamela 在一家高级美容院当发型师。
Number 12. In order. In order.
井然有序，妥当。
The lieutenant inspected his troops to make sure everything was in order.
中尉检阅他的部队，确认一切都已妥当。
Number 13. Set an example for someone. Set an example for someone.
做某人的榜样。
Teachers are supposed to be hardworking and upstanding because they're supposed to set an example for their students.
教师们应该勤奋工作，正直诚实，因为他们应该做学生的榜样。
Number 14. Treat A as B. Treat A as B.
对待 A 有如对待 B， 或是视 A 如 B。
The Simons treat their pet dog Samantha as a princess.
Simon 一家人侍奉他们的宠物狗 Samantha 如同侍奉公主。
Number 15. Dormitory. Dormitory.
宿舍
If you don't want to live off campus, you can always live in a dormitory.
如果你不想住校外，可以住宿舍。
Number 16. Hold a gun to one's head. Hold a gun to one's head.
用枪压着某人。
I can't get my son to do his homework unless I hold a gun to his head.
除非我用枪压着我儿子，否则没办法逼他做功课。
Number 17. Preparation. Preparation.
准备
It took many hours of preparation before we could put on the class play.
我们花了很多时间准备，才能让班上的剧上演。
Number 18. Hold someone to something. Hold someone to something.
要某人为某事负责。
I'll take out the garbage right after this TV program finishes, Mom.
You'd better. I'm going to hold you to your promise. 妈，这个电视节目完了之后，我再把垃圾拿出去。最好是你如果说话不算话，我会找你。
Number 19. Freshen up. Freshen up.
梳洗。
Marcia excused herself and went to the women's restroom to freshen up.
Marcia 告退，去化妆室梳洗了。
Number 20. Straighten up. Straighten up.
整理。
After the children left the classroom, their teacher stayed to straighten it up.
孩子们离开教室后，老师留下来整理。
That completes our vocabulary items for today, both the words and phrases. Now we'll stop for a break and then come back to tell you about parts 4 and we'll do part 5.
那么呢，我们这个休息一下之后呢，回来进行第4部分，同时呢，一起来做一下第5部分的 quiz。
Welcome back. I'd like to take a couple of minutes to make you more familiar with part 4, which we call an extra serving. You may wonder, what's an extra serving? And I mentioned at the beginning of the program, you could also call it an extra helping. Help, 后面加 ing. When you are eating a big meal, you have one portion or helping or serving of a piece of meat, another serving of vegetables, a serving of soup. If you take it again, then it would be an extra helping or an extra serving. Now on the TV program, as I explained earlier, we don't really have time to do so much. So this part of your textbook, part 4 for every lesson, we assign to the radio program once a week or to your workbook so that you can read it, think about it, and do a couple of exercises on it in order to help you remember the material better. So this is my big chance to remind you and beg you, please, don't just read this in your textbook and forget about it. Listen to your radio program every week. It will improve your listening comprehension and give you extra information about something in the dialogue or about the topic. The same, if it's in the workbook, then you should read your workbook. Do the exercises to help 补 what you have read in the textbook or have watched here on the TV program.
第4部分呢，它的重要性在哪边？刚刚 Bruce 老师讲解得很清楚，因为第4部分的标题叫做这个额外的帮助啊，因为 serving 本来是指上菜，上一道一道的菜，那你额外的再上，那个意思就是再补充啊，再加强，再帮助你。那么所以呢，这是第4部分它的功能。那么刚刚也提到了，就是呢，可能第4部分是在电台的广播，或者是在你的 workbook 里面啊，那么都可以加强你的听力啦，然后补充一些额外的 information， 一些资讯，或者是让你做一做习作去练习，才不会像 Bruce 老师讲的，你只是看完你的这个 textbook， 然后就把它忘掉了。所以第4部分呢，大家也要好好的运用。
And now we're ready to take a look at part 5, which we do every week on the TV program, your quiz.
好，那现在我们就来进行第5部分的 quiz。
Of course, the content of the quiz will be different every week, but there will be 5 questions for you each week. And the questions are in different forms, and we can see a couple of them today. For example, number 1, every weekend, Billy blank his room to make it neat and easier to work in. The blank means you must choose either A, B, or C and put it into the blank for the sentence to make sense. So this is a vocabulary exercise. Every weekend, Billy straightens up his room to make it neat and easier to work in. So you should choose A because it's the answer that makes the best sense.
第一题我们来看到每个周末呢 Billy 他都会把他的房间怎么样来让房间呢更干净，而且呢也比较容易在里面做事儿。那么正确答案是 A 整理。
Okay, number 2 is a different kind of question. Let's take a look at this. Which of the following verbs refers to how we move when we are very, very tired? Is it A, resume, B, stir, or C, drag? If you remember from our vocabulary, the part 3, we had a sentence about workers moving on a hot and humid day. On those kinds of days, we say we drag ourselves around. So for the kind of question number 2, there's no blank. You just have to answer the question. And the correct answer to this question, number 2, is C, drag.
那么呢，刚刚第一题的题型呢是要同学们你们填空，那么第二题的题型就不同了，它直接是问你下列何者是符合这个问题的意思，所以其实你是要从3个里面选出正确的哦。那么这一题呢，他说下列哪一个动词代表的是当我们非常非常累的时候，我们移动的那个感觉？那么正确答案就是 C。拖着你的身体啊，那刚刚布鲁斯老师也提醒大家，我们在这个 vocabulary 里面那个例句，工人呢在又热又湿的天气里面拖着身子啊，在工地上面行走，就是用 drag 这个动词。
Okay, let's move on. Number 3, what should parents do for their children? So this is a simple question. You have to choose the best answer. Is it A, set an example for them, B, hold a gun to their heads, or C, hold them to something? Now this is a good question because in fact A, B, and C are all possible answers, but you want to choose the best one. Sometimes you might have to hold a gun to their heads. Sometimes you might have to hold them to something that they said. In other words, to keep their promise. However, we should always set an example for our children. So A is the best answer for question number 3.
这一题呢，刚好是一个很好的例子哦。布鲁斯老师讲解得很清楚。有时候这个问题呢，可能3个答案都可能发生的时候，你要如何选一个最好的答案？那么这一题问的是这个父母亲应该为他们的孩子做什么？那么我们看到答案的 A 呢，为他们树立榜样；跟 B 呢，就是拿着枪压着他们的头啊，逼他们去做某个事情；或者是 C 呢，就是要求他们对某些事情负责。那么呢，其实虽然3者都有可能，但是刚刚布鲁斯老师讲了一个很重要的副词，叫做 always， 就是呢，后者 B 跟 C 呢，都是在某些情况下父母才应该要这样做，可是唯有 A， 你父母要永远的啊，无时无刻的为小孩树立榜样，所以这个就是最好的答案，所以你要选 A。
You know, Lori, I always set an example for my children.
You do?
Unfortunately, it's a bad one.
他永远树立都是榜样，但是都是坏的榜样，太不应该了。
Okay, number 4. This is a blank. We have to fill in the blank. If someone has a great deal of work to do, he blank. A, exaggerates. B, has a lot on his plate. Or C, counts out loud. Well, of course, the best answer here, the only answer here is B. Has a lot on his plate. If someone has a great deal of work to do, he has a lot on his plate.
那么第4题呢，假如某人有很多的工作要做，那么他呢就是他的餐盘上还有很多的东西，那意思就是他还有很多事情要做，所以我们选 B。
And lasto, number 5. Which of the following is a place to live? Is it A, preparation, B, dormitory, or C, hairstylist? Come on, guys. There's only one of the three answers that's a place to live, and as you can see, that is B, a place on campus usually. A dormitory is a place for students to live in. Choose B.
那么第5题很简单，下列何者是一个可以住的地方？那么正确答案当然就是 B 宿舍。
Okay, how did you do? That's not so important as doing it. And you will find many examples like this in the workbook. Each workbook lesson has 2 exercises a little similar to the quiz. So try them out and learn more. But now, we gotta go. It's time for our second viewing of the dialogue. Have fun and hope you can understand it better.
现在我们就赶快来看第2次的对话吧。
1, 2, 3, 4.
Paul,
1.
Paul, why are you up so early? Usually you are the last one in the neighborhood to get out of bed.
It's Saturday, and I don't want to miss a minute of this weekend.
You are impossible.
1,
Monday through Friday, I have to
2.
drag you out of bed to get to work. And now you're up at the crack of dawn exercising.
Oh, don't exaggerate. Oh. Well, are you going to get up now, or are you going to lie there all day? Remember, Carolyn is coming this morning.
I know. All right, I'll get out of bed too.
That's the spirit. Gee, I feel great. We have a lot on our plate today, don't we?
Don't you know it? Caroline is coming about 11, and then all of us are heading out to Yangmingshan National Park for a picnic. And then she and I will do some shopping, and then our hairstylist, and then we're going to meet the girls for dinner and fun.
Yeah. Tonight I'm going out with a couple of old friends for singing and a few beers. But first, we have to clean up this house and get it in order. After all, we want to set an example for our daughter, right?
Excuse me, do I know you?
Well, what?
Since when do you care what our house looks like? You always treat our house like a boys' dormitory.
Oh, Martha, that's not true. I help around the house.
Yeah, when I hold a gun to your head.
Now, come on. I am really going to help you around the house this morning, both with the cleaning and the picnic preparation.
I'm going to hold you to that.
You can hold me anytime you like.
Man, that's all you ever think about.
That's not true. I sometimes think about food.
Well, let's get busy here. It's just after 6, so we have plenty of time to freshen up, get dressed, have breakfast, and clean and straighten up the house.
After you.
Did you understand the second viewing better than the first time? We hope so, and if you listen to the radio program and you do your workbook, it'll be easier still. Join us again next week for Lesson 2. Bye-bye.
再见。